Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're going to talk a little bit about money today, and I think it's such a sensitive topic for some people. I personally don't like to post things like what my sales are and stuff. I feel like it's braggy, but that's just my personal opinion. Right now I'm sitting at a kid's playground, and believe it or not, in the time that I had sold my restaurant last year, and in that 10 months before I decided to open May's, I'd actually looked into opening a kids playground in Peterborough. I checked out spaces, I had all these ideas, I started looking up suppliers, I joined Facebook groups to get a pulse on what the market is like, and as fun as it would have been, I ultimately decided not to because I felt like the business model wasn't going to work for me, and I felt like it wasn't going to be a profitable enough venture for the amount of investment and effort I would have put into it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what my thoughts were with the indoor kids playground and why I didn't do it. And I'm going to talk to you guys about May and what made me decide to actually go forward with that. So the first thing with the kids playground, one of the things that I really love about it is there's a huge opportunity. There's not a lot of indoor playgrounds in Peterborough. There's just so many kids. There's constantly people on Facebook being like, where should I host my birthday party? And I was like, oh, here's like a great opportunity to capitalize. But when you actually look at the numbers of like how many potential customers there are in Peterborough and how much money you actually need to generate to turn a profit, keep in mind as well, these indoor playgrounds are great for kids that are in the 0 to 8. I think 8 is even maybe a little bit old, but 0 to 5, let's just say. That amount of kids is, let's say, X amount. And then of those X amount in your demographic, how many are actually going to come? How many can actually afford to bring their kids on a frequent basis to come? So that's why memberships are really important. The other thing that kind of turned me off with the business model was the fact that you have to constantly find new customers. Like your 0 to 5 age range is constantly aging out. So you're having to find new people to come in the door, which costs money. It's a lot of effort. The nice thing about restaurants is customers have a lifetime value, which is much higher than someone from an indoor playground. I can have customers. You have to go pee?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go pee. So the nice thing with restaurants is the lifetime value of customers is much higher. And when you think about it, you also serve generations. So with my family's Chinese restaurant, we serve people for 3-4 generations. And I'm not saying like that's how long we were open. I'm just saying we're serving their grandparents, the parents, and the kids and grandkids, right? So like my mom, she would know everyone in their family. And it just kind of became like family tradition. And it's Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, people are bringing home food, and then the kids love it, and then it just kind of stays with them, and they keep ordering from you over time. So that was a really big factor when I thought about kind of payoff for investment. The next thing that I take into consideration when I think about opening a new business is what the rent percentage is. So first off, your relationship with your landlord is super important because there's going to be problems that come up. I'm dealing with all these other problems that came up after taking over the space, and the landlord's been amazing. And I've had that relationship with all my landlords so far, so I know what to look for when I sign a lease. But when it comes to rent, whatever your rent is, you want it to fall well under 11%. So I think a lot of people actually aim for 8% and below, which is pretty ambitious nowadays with what rent is, but I think if you're in the 8 to 11% range, you're okay. I recently just got my rent under 8%, which is awesome. It took me a few years to get there, but previously I'd always been sitting at 10. And yeah, so to figure it out if you can make that work is, let's say your rent was $1,000 a month. So basically you need to do at least $10,000 in sales minimum a month to make it work, because again, you still have all these other things to pay for. You have rent, labor, utilities, you get a profit. I've seen places that sign leases and they're sitting at like 25% and they're wondering why they're losing money. So that's the first thing you really have to consider before you even embark on this adventure. Can you make your sales to a scale where your rent actually sits between 8 and 11%? And if it's less than that, you're laughing. In the last year, I've probably been to the Mandarin way more times than I have ever been in my life. And not that it's necessarily like our inspiration, obviously, because it's the main buffet restaurant in our area. But it's been really good because one, Matt's family really likes it here, so that's why we started coming here. And two, honestly, you have kids, it makes your life so much easier when there's so many options and they can just look at it and tell you what they want. For me, it's purely convenience and variety. I'm not necessarily coming to a buffet to try to beat the buffet because girls got to watch her weight. So originally when I decided to open the restaurant, it was going to just be takeout and then like a la carte service. So you just like order off the menu. But here's the thing, the space was actually a little bit larger than I would have liked. So we can fit, 80 people in there for seating. It's really hard to do takeout and service like 80 people sitting inside at the same time. So I was kind of like, you know what? I might as well just do a buffet. It's easier to serve people all at once, and we can still put out good food as long as we're just like monitoring what's actually on the buffet table and just focusing on quality. So a lot of people wonder, how the heck do you make money off a buffet? And here's the thing. At the end of the day, you just have to know your numbers.
I want doctor.
Daddy's getting ice cream. Go, he's getting ice cream. Go. He's going to get ice cream. Go get more ice cream with him. No, you have to go get it yourself with him. And that's how you get rid of your children. Okay, so a lot of people are wondering, how the heck are you gonna make money off of a buffet? That's all you can eat. At the end of the day, it's all about numbers. So I'm not putting together a buffet to lose money. It's about providing value, but at the same time, charging accordingly. My plan is to, just like the Mandarin, charge weekday pricing, weekend pricing, lunch pricing, dinner pricing, and of course holiday pricing, which would basically be the same as like weekends. And it's about monitoring your numbers. So monitoring your food costs and your labor. You want to make sure your prime costs are below 65%. And that's monitoring your labor and food costs on weekly basis, monthly basis, making sure your targets are hit. And if your numbers are not in line, then that's when you need to go back to the drawing board and see what things are actually costing you. The nice thing is we're going to have a pretty good takeout business. So making sure our takeout food is priced accordingly, that's number one. And then the buffet is going to be something that you have to manage like day by day. I already have an idea of how I want to track our numbers from the buffet. So comparing buffet sales to what food we're putting out on the buffet and tracking those costs. But yeah, at the end of the day, guys, as long as you know your numbers, you can make money. And I think that's the biggest issue with a lot of restaurant owners is they don't know their numbers. They don't know how to calculate their menu costs, and they don't know how to menu engineer, which is, what food to actually put on their menu and how to display it and how to make sure that you're promoting the most profitable items. I am sitting inside Maymay right now, and as you can see, we are still very much under construction, but it looks way better than the blue ceilings and the tile floors and the blue walls. So we've gotten a lot done so far, and we still have a little bit more to go, but we're closer to the end than to the beginning. I actually have some tables and chairs that we can sit on right now that I can actually do some work and sit and talk to you guys. So I'm going to show you guys my cash flow forecast, and this is the information that's really important for me to know whether this business is even possibly viable and sustainable. So I actually had to create this for Community Futures, who is actually the ones that helped me with getting a loan to make this even possible. If anyone doesn't know what Community Futures is a local organization that supports small businesses. So if you want to start your own small business or expand yours, they're the ones to go to. So shout out to Brayden, Rose, Lindsay, Devin. They are amazing and they only want to see you succeed. They also host workshops and events, which I've been to, and they're fantastic. So let's dive in. So here's my cash flow forecast that I had to make. I'm going to show you guys what I'm anticipating for the first month. Again, this is just a projection. You never really know because there's always things kind of changing, whether it's seasonality of the business or, when you open in your first month, everyone's really hyped up for your business. They'll probably be really busy the first month, and then the next month it might die down. Who knows? So with the food average here that you see, I wrote $2,500. So I calculated the average spend at about $25 a person. That is maybe an average takeout order, which is kind of shooting low because there's a lot of family dinners and stuff, but that's okay. We're just gonna go with $25. And then I'm averaging about servicing 2,500 people in the first month. And again, this is just for takeout only in the evening. So when we open, we're just gonna open for 7 nights a week, takeout only, until the buffet tables arrive. That's kind of like a whole different story. And yeah, also, I did want to open for takeout only first, just because I wanted to make sure that like the systems were in place, our staff were trained. I'd rather kind of walk before we run. So this is kind of that scenario. So if we look at food costs, we want to keep our food costs and labor costs within a certain range, certain percentage. So basically that's what we call our prime costs. We want to keep that at about like 60%. That ensures that the business is profitable. So for all the money that I'm bringing in, I don't want to spend more than 60 to 65% of that money paying for labor and cost of goods. And those are numbers that we have to monitor like every single week. And this is the interesting thing with a buffet is we don't know what people are going to order. We don't know what people are going to eat, how much they're going to eat. So that's why it's really important for us to keep an eye on this every single week. Then we have to look at our ongoing expenses. So those are our monthlies. So salaries, I'm basing that off of a percentage of sales. And then we've got your rent. Rent is the other big one. When I signed the lease for this place, I had to look at how much the monthly rent is here, how much I was going to project to do in sales every single month. And to me, that was a no-brainer. Fortunately, because I have Hanoi House, I already knew what my sales were there on an average month. And knowing this business quite well as well from my previous history, I was able to just conclude that I know I can hit that target amount per month. Right now, I've projected about $62,000 for the first month, and then our rent is around $7,600, give or take. So that actually puts us over that 10%, which is not good. However, keep in mind, I'm only opening for takeout in the evenings. So as we expand our operations, those sales will hopefully go up. And then, yeah, we have to account for heat, hydro, all that fun stuff, phone, insurance. So when all is said and done, if I were to just look at things on a very just basic level, this is very basic. We're not accounting for paying back how much it costs for me to build this place, those initial startup fees, signage, menus, all that stuff. We're looking at, when I have to pay back my loan, of course, but, you know, I'll probably profit anywhere around about like $9,000. And again, this is just me being very optimistic. And the reality is the numbers are not always going to fall in line right away. The thing is, when I go into these scenarios, I know that I might be losing a little bit of money here and there, but I try to fix things right away. Sometimes it's more important for me to generate revenue in certain instances than it is to make things perfect, because it's hard to make something perfect before you actually hit the ground running. So those are the numbers for the first month. Again, you just want to look at your prime costs and you want to look at your rent percentage and making sure those three fall in line. If you can make sure that triangle is, you know, good, everything is there, then that's when you can actually scale and build the business up. So I hope this has been kind of informative. If you ever want to open a restaurant or a food business, it is super awesome. But I will say that the number side of the business is very tricky for people that have never opened a food business or a business in general. I think a lot of people, you know, they open businesses because they love food, but you have to know your numbers. And if you don't, you are on a bit of a timeline, unfortunately. So if you have questions, let me know, and I can't wait to share the space with you. We are inside Mei Mei right now. As you can see, it's still very much under construction. Damn it!
Immediately starts cutting. It's like he was watching you, like waiting for the ball.
Oh no, wait till she starts recording. What's your favorite thing to eat here?
My favorite strawberry. No, my favorite.
My favorite thing to eat here is.
Chocolate ice cream and strawberry ice cream.
And what do you like to put on it?
I like to put sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles, and what else I did?
And you put chocolate sprinkles and rainbow sprinkles?
Okay.
And M&Ms.
And I like eating French fries and fruit.
And fruit, that's right.
And I like seeing water.
Oh, okay. You like seeing the water with the fishies?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go see the fishies right now. I'm just sitting here.